Shalom, Lord Grace. All right. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham. Yahweh Shema Alatham by Shem Yahshai. This is a priest and officer Kurah Ya'ala. And out of headquarters in ISUPK, Connecticut as well. And today we're going to go into who's your neighbor and who's your enemy. Because often we tend to think and we tend to forget who our enemies are. And I'm not talking about Jamal or Raekwon on the corner that you got beef with over territory, drug territory, and so forth. I'm talking about people that wage war against your people, meaning non-Black, non-Hispanic, non-Native American Indians. I'm talking about nations of people that hate you and your people. And when I say you, I'm talking about Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. Today, I'm going to go into an article also that I saw that it happened out in California, where the police, as always, every other day is about 3 or 4 killings of our oppressors on social media. But today I caught this article that this police had killed out in San Bernardino, California, where they fatally shot and killed the 23-year-old that ran from them, an unmarked car that was police officers. They jumped out on him and shot him in his back, as always. But yeah, I'm going to the article. It's titled California Police Fatally Shoot 23-year-old Black Man as He Ran Away, Video Shows. Okay. And this is from The Guardian. The source is The Guardian. It says police in San Bernardino, California fatally shot a 23-year-old man on Saturday as he was fleeing, according to surveillance footage that shows an officer find just seconds after arriving in an unmarked vehicle. Now, I don't know if it's me, but usually they say, even in the fighting, if somebody's surrendering or giving up or retreating, you're supposed to let up on them. You're not supposed to, unless I guess their life is in danger. They're supposed to shoot at somebody that's not shooting, that's running from them. But again, our oppressor can do what they want because this is their kingdom. This is their time. Our oppressors don't give a damn about us. And when you have the Christian church and you have the Muslim mosques and so forth wanting to be pro-Black, but at the same time kissing our oppressors behind, excuse my French, we got to come together and say, enough is enough with this. Because, the young brother, like anybody else, the first reaction is going to be somebody jump out in regular clothes. They think they're getting robbed or somebody, is running up on them. But apparently, as we go into the story, you're going to see how it actually turned out, because they ended up killing this young brother. So it states that the security camera footage from a parking lot in San Bernardino, a city an hour east of Los Angeles, shows two officers driving up in an unmarked car about 8 p.m. as Robert Adams stood in the lot. Soon as two officers exited the car, Adams turned away from them and ran. It appears that roughly 5 seconds after they had stepped out of the car, one of the officers fired at Adams from a distance, seeming to hit him and causing him to collapse on the ground. The video of the killing went viral on Monday and sparked national outrage, with civil rights lawyer Ben Crump calling it a horrific execution, and Adams' family urging authorities to file murder charges against the officer, who has not been identified. The killing comes weeks after police in Akron, Ohio, fired more than 60 rounds at Jalen Walker, a 25-year-old black man who was also fleeing, sparking widespread protests. In San Bernardino, police department said in a statement that the two officers were with a specialized investigation unit and were conducting surveillance in an unmarked vehicle after receiving information that a black male armed with a gun was in the parking lot. The surveillance footage does not have audio, but the department claimed that the officers gave verbal commands after they exited the car that Adams had a gun in his hand as he fled. Adams' family said he probably did not know they were officers when they arrived. His mother, Tamika Davella King, told CBS LA he was not a threat to them. He was running for his life. King told the TV station that she was on the phone with her son just moments before the shooting. Ordwin King, Adams' stepfather, told the Guardian, "We want full justice for our son. We want cops like that off the force." He previously told CBS LA that the officer hunted him down like a dog. Understand that it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation of what happened, but this is why ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana, when we say these scriptures are real, understand when his stepfather, Ordwin King, said that he previously told CBS LA that the officers hunted him down like a dog. The scriptures been saying that. I'm gonna go into Ecclesiastes. Hold on, 7:7. Hold on. Excuse me. Lamentations 4:18. Because understand that we're the prey. Like these evil bastards are bloodthirsty. Our oppressor, the so-called white man, these devil dogs that's out there killing our people, killing our children, our women, disrespecting us, old and young. These devil dogs don't give a damn about our people. Lamentations 4:18 says the same thing that that the young brother's father said. It goes, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, and our end is come. They hunt our streets more so than ever, and it's only going to get worse. We cannot go in our streets. We cannot hang out. That's why gentrification was the worst thing that could have happened for Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, neighborhoods, people. Gentrification was giving up our communities. Gentrification is why these cops from the suburbs come into the city areas or come into the urban areas and don't know how to police and don't know how to deal with our people. That's why we need our people to police our people. They don't understand us. They fear us. They hate us also. They hate us to the point where they come into our neighborhoods and our young men, they use, and women, they use as target practice. They come in there like this is a Grand Theft Auto game where they just shoot them up, and then body, just killing our people. You know, this have got to stop. Justice do need to be served, but before anything can be served, we have to come back to the Most High. We have to come back wholeheartedly, 10 toes down. And the Lord wants us to come back. The Most High is going to fight all our battles, but He's not going to fight it when you over there worshiping a rock, when you over there worshiping that wooden cross, when you sitting there, being a homosexual, when you're being a drug dealer, a murderer, a pedophile, a rapist, a drug user, drug abuser, and so forth. Most High is not going to deal with you. The Most High, He's not even going to. The Most High has mercy on who He has mercy on, but understand it's a slim to none chance that the Most High will deliver, especially you knowing and hearing the word when we're out there in the streets and we're teaching throughout the four corners of this earth, and you hear us and you ignore anything that you see. ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, any one of these camps, anywhere throughout this world. When you walk by and you ignore and you laugh and you understand that you can't say you never known when that day comes, when judgment day comes, when that day comes. You can't say you never know because you're going to be held accountable for knowing. That's why if you want justice, you got to come back to the Lord. If you want real justice to be served, not a little slap on the wrist, he get 3 months in jail and then he's back out in the street, or he gets desk duty, administrative leave. That's not justice at all. Because all these other nations know when war has been waged from another nation on their people, they want complete justice. They know what justice is. They know what they're looking for. They're not going. They're not. They're not going to let up if one of their people die, or they feel that that's been done wrong. How you know? When let something happen to an African, let something happen to a Chinese person, a East Indian person, a devil dog, a so-called white man. Let something happen to them. They will not let up until justice is served. How many killings? About 3-4 killings a day you see by the hands of just the police officers. But when we say something like you shouldn't be celebrating the 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, our people look at us like, oh, y'all bugging. So what, we celebrate, but understand that means a lot. That's being disrespectful to the Lord. When you go against these laws, statutes, and commandments that's in the Bible, you're going against the Lord. You're going against the Most High. It ain't no different than any fathers out there that child go against them. They're going to be highly upset and they're going to get dealt with. And you too, as a father, will have mercy, especially if you have multiple children. You know who you have mercy on and you know who you won't. You know the badasses out there, and you know the ones that you can tell sincerely, was sorry. And you know the ones that's not. You got to light that fire to that behind, you know? But I'm gonna get back into I'm gonna finish that. Yeah. And so when they when that man said they hunt our steps, understand that this has been going on for years, hundreds of years right now. And the problem with our people is a lot of times we don't care unless it hits home. We don't care unless it hits home. A lot of our people, if it's not done to any family member or friend, a lot of our mentalities is, oh well, that's not my problem. And we got to change that because it is our problem because that's our brother that just got killed in the street. A couple weeks a week ago was the other brother that got shot 60 times and so forth. The list goes on, going back. But when are we going to come together and say, enough is enough? What is it going to take? Because with all these killings that's been going on in the past years, where's your Jesse Jacksons? Where's your Al Sharptons? Where is our leaders? Where is our leaders that's ready to lead our people back to the Most High? The thing is, our leaders here has been here. ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Commanding General Yohana is here. He's raising up a nation of priests and prophets. He's building a nation of righteous men and women. But our people look at us, they turn their head, they got everything to say about us. But they can never prove us wrong. Why is that? Because we live, eat, sleep, breathe these scriptures right here. ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Since 1969 to now, we have been here for our people. But the thing is, our people don't want to accept us because we're going to tell you if you have a weed habit, nah, that's not happening. If you have a sleeping with whores and prostitute problem, that's not happening. Anything that goes against these scriptures, you will get checked. No man in here is above anything when it comes to these scriptures. Because the Lord tells you he's not a respecter of persons. If you go against these scriptures right here, Most High don't give a damn. Most High don't have to answer to anybody. You wrong, you wrong. You right, you right. That's truth right there. That's love right there. Correction is love. A lot of our people don't like to get corrected. A lot of our people prefer people to enable them. A lot of our people prefer people to say, yo, nah, just the yes men, the yes woman, Nah, that's all right. They just want somebody to side with them. But the second you sit there and tell a person about themselves, oh, they're not messing with you. You don't believe me? Put it to the test. Next time you're around your friends, tell people about themselves and see how fast they'll start slowly pushing away from you. Because our people don't want to deal with the truth. The truth is that we are the Lord's chosen people. The 12 tribes, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. We are the Lord's chosen people. We are the salt of the earth. These Lord's statutes and commandments was for us, is for us. This is our heritage. This is our history. This is our culture. This is our way of life. Everything that we supposed to do is in these scriptures. But what do you see our people doing everything else but following these law, statutes, and commandments in its entirety? Okay, let me see. So I'm gonna go over the Lamentations 4 and 18 again. It says, "They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is to come." Our end is near. The curses that's on us, this captivity is near. As you can see, our oppressors, this kingdom is falling. Babylon's falling to rise no more. That's real. And you can see it, the economy. You see everything going on. It's not. It may pick up a little and seem like they're getting it together, but it's going down. The Most High is knocking it down, and when it's fully down, then you're gonna see. That's gonna determine the men from the boys, the women from the girls. Then you're gonna see a influx of people coming in, wanting to come back to the Lord, and that's fine. But why wait till the last second? Why don't you get yourself right, so then you can get the next person right, and the next person, and the next person, and before you know it, this whole what they call America and this whole earth will be full with a nation with a whole nation of priests, prince and princesses, old and young. You want a solution? You want justice? You want true justice? We got to come back to the Lord. Because coming back to the Lord, you be able getting into these classes, coming to these classes, getting into the school. You're gonna know who's your neighbor and who's your enemy. Because Christianity is not going to tell you that the white man's a goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Christianity is not going to tell you that these Asians out here don't like you. Christianity is not going to tell you that neither, nor Islam, nor anything else, because they all allow people to come in to their organization. You can convert and come right in and join as long as you believe. Israelites, you can't. It's a bloodline. You have to be born into this. That's why when you at camp and you be having Edomites coming up. Oh, how can I join? No, you can't. Just leave a donation, leave your money in the bucket, keep it pushing, and pray that the Lord have mercy on you when that time comes. But Salaki, I know I went off sidetracked for a second. But I'm gonna get back to that article. Hold on, Salaki. Okay. Uh, Okay. Okay. Now it says Jennifer Correll, a spokesperson for the police department, said Adams did not fire at the police officer. Excuse me. The video also does not show him pointing a weapon at the officers and only shows him running in the opposite direction. Again, this is typical. It's sad to say, but it's typical because How many? Just within a 5 year, 8 year span, have you seen where cops have said the person that they killed, the brother or the sister that they killed, was shooting at them, or they thought they had a gun, and then they don't ever find nothing on them. All the time, and all they get is a slap on the wrist. Now you have to say to yourself, if they supposed to be policing us and correcting, but they blatantly lying, and on social media and everything, you see that the police department is lying. So now who's policing them? Who's correcting them? Internal affairs supposed to be correcting them, but they seem to not be. They seem to be MIA because all they get is a slap on the wrist. They get maybe a year thrown in jail, if that long, or they just get suspended and then they still get their money. They still get a chance to make money. That's because this nation hates us. Our oppressors, all these other nations hate us. They cannot stand us. Why is that? Because, matter of fact, I'm going to Zephaniah 2 and 1. Zephaniah 2 and 1. It says, gather yourselves together. They hate us because it says, gather yourselves together. Gather together, O nation not desired. We're a nation that's not desired. Why is that? Because our people are the Lord's chosen, the 12 tribes. When I say our, I'm talking about the whole 12 tribes, from the so-called Negroes all the way down to the so-called Mexicans, is the Lord's chosen people. And they hate that. They know that because they know us, they know who we are more than them. More than us. They know us more than we know ourselves, excuse me. And it's sad that that's how bad we as a people have been stripped from our culture, our heritage, knowing these things. Because as we say, the white man's a goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. And when we say that, it's because he's the biggest deceiver. For them to deceive, a whole nation of people out of their culture, out of their heritage, beat it out of us, out of our foreparents. It's like for them to do all that and to just act and walk around like they're the Lord's chosen people. They done lost their goddamn mind. You know? They done lost their mind. I'm gonna go to Romans 9 and 13. Um it says it goes as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Why they don't like us? Why we're a nation that's not desired? Because because the Most High loves us, the house of Jacob, the 12 tribes. Esau, which is the so-called white man, or as you could say, red devil dogs. The Most High says He hate them. So as a result of that, they have a perpetual hatred towards us. They cannot stand us. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for the Lord, if it wasn't for the Most High, every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian would be wiped off the face of this earth. That's how much they hate us. So all you rolling around here saying, "Oh, Jan and oh, Cindy and so forth, whatever white name or Katie or whatever white names is out there. They're not bad. They my friends and so forth. Now understand they're your friends up until you're in a situation. If you're put in a situation where they have to make a choice between you being black or Hispanic and having to stick up for a white person, somebody of their own kindred, who you think they're gonna roll with? They would talk, they will hype you up, and the whole nine. When it gets down to it, they're gonna ride with their people. So why is it when Aisha became the Commander General Yohana say that we for our people? Oh, that's a big problem. It's a whole big problem. Why is that? You want to know why? Because our leaders have been tippy toeing around white America, around our oppressors, but IGBK is not. All these so-called black organizations, so forth, is scared to speak and to say that we love each other, that we're here for each other, that we only deal with each other, and we're here to build each other back up. No other group is doing that. And if they are calling themselves doing that, it's an agenda behind that, and they're not even genuine with it. ICBK and the Commander General Yohana love our people. We care about our people wholeheartedly because we care for the ones that are broken in spirit and beat down to the point where they feel like there's no hope. That's the ones we build up. We build everybody up, but that's the ones that are broken down in spirit is who we get. The ones that's locked up in jail, that this wicked ass kingdom, this wicked ass society turn their back on. We're there for our people, just like any other Caucasian, Chinese, African, East Indian, so forth. How they stick up for their people, IGPK does the same for our people, the Lord's chosen people. But America can't deal with that because they're so used to us being divided as a people, where you have the excuse my French, F that nigga, and so forth, or forget that B, that's that mentality of division amongst our people. But when they see us come together and trying to stick together, that's America's biggest nightmare. That's America's biggest fear, to see blacks and Hispanics getting together. Blacks and Hispanic, Haitians and Dominicans, blacks and Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans and every West Indian and so forth, and vice versa, you know, getting together and coming together. That's our oppressors' biggest fear. They wouldn't even know how to deal with that. If every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian got along like we supposed to, which we will in the kingdom, that's America's biggest fear. Their job is to keep us divided as a people, as a nation. As long as they can do that, they can thrive. Once that's out their hand and they can't do that, that's their biggest fear. That's their biggest fear. Salakia. I see there's some people in the chat right here. I'm throw little shout outs. Let me see. Amani Hamilton. Shalom. Yahweh Shemal Thon by Shem Shai. I see Greg Walk on there. Shalom. Yahweh by Shem Shai Rakatha. Crypto Brinks. Shalom. Yahweh by Shem Shai Rakatha. ISUPK Connecticut up in the house there. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yashabrakatah. Okay, that's it. Okay. All right. So now let me go into let me go back into this article. There's not that much left in it, but once I do the articles, I like to go through it. Okay, so now the video does not show him pointing a weapon at the officer and also shows him running in the opposite direction. Corral said the department will release body camera footage. She said Adams, who is black, fit the description of a tip police were investigating, but she declined to say whether police confirmed he was the person they were looking for. She said the two officers on were not on leave. Adams was taken to the hospital after the shootings, where he later died. Crump, the lawyer who represented George Floyd's family, said on Tuesday afternoon that he and local California attorney Bradley Gage were representing Adams' family. It is unbelievable that another black family has to bury their child due to police shooting first and ask questions later. The two lawyers said in a statement. Robert appeared to be simply walking around the parking lot when officers exited their unmarked vehicle, firing their weapons at him immediately. Robert never even had a chance to explain himself. That it's sad to say, but it's typical. It's typical. You never have a chance to explain yourself because they don't want to hear nothing. Now it's unfortunate because I'm sure they have cops that really want to police and want to do what they got to do, but understand that it is being ran. Most of them is being ran by racist bigots that hate, that have that's bloodthirsty hatred, like for no reason. Understand? You know why we hate the white man or our oppressor? Excuse me. It's not that we hate, but we hate what they did to our ancestors. We hate how they treated our people and how they're still treating our people. What's their excuse for hating us? We hate the mistreatment of our people. What's their reason for hating us? They have no reason. Well, I guess they do have a reason because the Lord hate them. So they taking it out on us. That's what it all boils down to. Because they're evil, they filled with hate, and they are a beast. They are animals. And it's amazing. Sidebar for a second, Salaki. They quick to call us animals, but they learn from us. Our ways, like even like when you look at them, when you look at these red devil dogs and see how they conduct themselves and act, even partying. If you look at TV, if you ever been by you, like a group of them partying at a bar or something, because I used to bounce back in the days, and well I did it a few times. Helping out a friend, and it was a couple of them was at a bar out in I know one was in White Plains and another was in the Bronx, but the ones where it was Edomites involved, um, they party a lot different than us. Like they, they jumping on tables and acting like they ain't got no goddamn manners, jumping up on tables and chairs, and you know, they it's different. you know. But they'd be the first one to say blacks and Hispanics, we act wild, we this, we that, you know. Understand that anything that you see a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian do is learned behavior. As far as being wild and being murderous and having that hate, that's learned behavior from our oppressors because we're a peaceful people. We are people that sit there, work, come home, bring the food home. We're domesticated. Them wild animals, these devil dogs, these red devil dogs, they they they're a piece of work, man. They're a piece of work. And it's only gonna get worse. These killings are only going to get worse. Now let me see. Okay. It says a local councilman, Ben Reynoso, said he believed the officer should face criminal charges based on the video. I've been grappling with it all day to watch him flee and get killed. There's no justification. It was like an execution, he said, adding that he questioned why police showed up in an unmarked car. How often do we deploy these tactics? And to what end? If this could happen one time, it is happening somewhere else in our city right now, which is true. So now I guess that's the tactics now because they know the first reaction to an unmarked car is somebody running. So what they're going to use to justify that is, oh, he ran, he had a gun, he shot at me, blah, 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 and so forth. You know. So at the end of the day, it's like, at what point we as a people going to try to find and figure out a way for all this to stop? I mean, since 1969 to now, we've been given the remedy to prevent things from happening and trying to get right. In order for in order for us for any justice to be served, we all have to be on the same accord. We all have to be under one body, one spirit, one mind. Because when you have everybody going this way, that way, you know, things is gonna be just the way it is, confused. There's gonna be confusion everywhere. You know, it says Andres Garcia, a local community organizer who until recently was living a block away from the lot where the killing occurred, said the police actions on the video reminded him of a gang attack. I'm very familiar with that gang violence, and that's what it looked like to me, like a gang style hit and execution. He said there has been recent gun violence in the area, and it was not surprising that someone would be scared and fleeing when two people slowly pull up in an unmarked car and then get out with guns drawn. Reynoso noted that there was a long history of racial profiling in the San Bernardino Police Department. In April, a state audit found that officers in the department had engaged in biased conduct and cited a case of police using excessive force against a Latina woman who was involved in a car accident. There's not a lot of trust between people and the community here, Reynoso said. Police in the U.S. continue to kill more than 3 people a day and have killed 633 people so far in 2022. According to the Mapping Police Violence, a nonprofit research group that marks a slight increase from the killings at this point last year, which was one of the deadliest years for police violence on record. Okay, that's that. Understand that being on the police force, whether you black or Hispanic, a native Indian, does not, you can have every intention in the world to want to change things. But as long as these wicked devils, these wicked demons are on that force and running that force, you're not gonna have no say so in nothing. Even if you're up there in some kind of position where you can say something, it's gonna get knocked down because whoever you're over that's Caucasian is more likely related to somebody or know somebody that's related to somebody that's over you. And whatever tactics you may use to try to get them out of there, they're gonna shut it down. So I say this to say, Commander General Yohana, IGPK and the Commander General Yohana has been saying this since 1969 to now. Do not join our oppressor's army and police force. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. You're just helping towards white supremacy. You're just helping towards keeping our people more oppressed because you're going to have to prove yourself to them. They're going to have you where you're going to have to show them that you don't love your people. And by doing that, you're going to have to really do some real effed up nonsense to one of your own. Police department is like a gang. It is a gang. What they call them, blue bloods. That's a gang right there. And if you're part of them and you go against them, you're gonna have problems. You might as well quit. That's why you leave them be. You need a job, go join sanitation or something, you know. But get out there, get out of that because you have no place in there. All you are is who is that? If y'all watch that movie Life, you was that black dude with that with the with the rifle, making sure policing the prisoners. You know, use that Uncle Tom Negro doing that. But let me go into the neighbors because understand that because you live next to somebody that is literally next to you, that's not your that's not your neighbor. That's not what the Bible is talking about. If they're from another nationality, your neighbor is your brother or your sister that you may not ever know, but you know that they're brother or sister. That's your neighbor. That's who the Bible's talking about. When, hold on, I'm going to go into Matthew 19 and 19. Understand, them white police that killed that brother out there, that's not neighbor at all. That's your enemy. They had that much hatred for that young brother. They killed him. They're enemies. Matter of fact, I'm not even, I'm going to go into the enemies. I'm going to go into, okay, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Mm. And it says, and the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way of I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and they shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So our enemies, we were sold on. We were sold to the so-called white man, the Asians, the Arabs, the Africans. sold us. So when you talk about enemies, those are our enemies. Your enemies will sell you. Your neighbors won't. Your brothers and sisters won't. Your neighbors won't. Your enemies will kill you, like them officers did the young brother in San Bernardino, California. So understand that we we as a people have to know the difference because we were sold here. If you're black, if you're if you're if you're so-called black from the tribe of Judah, you're Hispanic, Mexicans, and so forth, from the so-called Negroes to the Mexicans. We were sold throughout the four corners of the earth to all these countries. We was out there scattered abroad like a speckled bird. Now, if that's your neighbor's supposed to be friendly and peaceful and so forth. Nah, all these other nations wasn't friendly to us. Not at all. They hated us. And the only reason we was in the position we was in is because we disobeyed the Most High. So this is what I say. If by us disobeying the Most High, we was put into captivity, wouldn't it make sense if we listen now to the Most High so we could be taken out of captivity? Well, a lot of our people don't see that though. A lot of our people rather just do what they want, what we want to do what they want to do, and just say the hell with it. And that's the mentality of a lot of our people because we don't care. We rather be distracted by love and hip hop, basketball wives, all that raunchy, distractive nonsense that's out there, all these challenges and stuff to just take you off your focus on coming back to the Lord. We'll rather do that than to turn around and, you know, come back to the Lord, to stop eating shrimp, pork, crab, lobsters, stop being a whore, stop being a homosexual, stop being a rapist, a pedophile, a drug dealer, a murderer, and so forth. You know, understand that we got to do better as a people. We got to do better as a people because knowing what we know, and if you do know these things and you still choose to be up under your oppressor, understand that you got it bad. You got that Stockholm syndrome bad. And the only thing we could do is just pray for you, you know. But I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna go into Ecclesiasticus 10, 12 and 10. Hold on, just bear me 1 second. It says, hold on, let me see. Okay, let's go to 9. It says, in the prosperity of a man's enemy will be grieved, but in his adversity, excuse me. I'm gonna read that again. Tongue twisted. In the prosperity of a man's enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust thine enemy, for like As iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Never trust thine enemy. Again, I mentioned who our enemy is: so-called white man, the so-called Chinese man, African, Arabic, and so forth. Our enemy cannot be trusted because our enemy hates you. If you're an enemy, then you should never trust your enemy. You know, the only trust you have for your enemy is to just trust and know that they are what they're gonna do. They're gonna deceive you. That's the only thing. But you don't trust them with your life. You don't feel comfortable around them. Never trust thy enemy. So all this thinking your next door neighbor that's Caucasian, or excuse me, a red devil dog, you think they like you or they care for? No, they don't. They'll smile in your face, and in their mind, they thinking 50 million ways of trying to hang you, slit your throat, kill you, and make you disappear off the face of this earth. And that's a fact. How we know? The incident in San Bernardino, the incident last week, and so forth. We have a whole laundry list full of stuff where it shows our enemies hate us. Where you jumping out of a car and playing target practice with our kids. This young brother didn't have to lose his life. The young brother last week ain't had to get 60 shots. You wouldn't even shoot a bear, an animal, 60 times. And you gonna tell me that's called for? Them bastards want our people dead. They want us dead. And understand, when you sit there and you celebrate all these different holidays, when you sit there and you're celebrating our oppressors' holidays, Memorial Day, Labor Day, for Independence Day, that's not for us. We had a Passover not too long ago in Florida that was phenomenal, off the hook. That's our Independence Day. You want to let off fireworks, let it off at the Passover. That's when the Most High delivered us out of Egypt. But you want to join on to our oppressors and celebrate their day. Their day is not our day. If you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indians, that's not our day. So I'm gonna read this again. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. He's a rusty snake, just a dirty bastard. And his wickedness is unbelievable. Somebody surrendering and running, and you shoot them in the back, and that's obviously was a kill shot. Nah. That's why we got to come back to the Lord. That's why we got to know who our enemies is. Like I'm gonna go into let me go into Leviticus 19 and 60. I'm gonna show you who our neighbors are. I'm in class. Um Just bear me 1 second. Okay, Leviticus 19 and 16 says, "Thou shalt not go up and down as talebearers among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High." Power. "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High." So understand that the Lord, when you talk about neighbor, you talk about other Israelites dealing with other Israelites. There's rules to this game. There's law, statutes, and commandments for us to deal with each other. There's principles for us to live by and live on. When they talk about neighbor, they're not talking about other nations. But when they talking about enemies, they are. When they talking about enemies, they are. They talking because our enemy. Understand that when what happened in San Bernardino, California, with that cop and the brother, that was an act of war. And when you're at war and you have two sides, you have enemies. Your enemies fighting each other. That was an act of war. If it was another black person, Hispanic, or Native Indian, that would have been a crime that was committed. But that was an act of war. Whenever there's somebody of another nation killing somebody of another nation, that's an act of war. And war have been waged upon us for a minute now. And we have to wake up and start getting it together. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. We got to get it together. Because if not, time's is getting short. It's getting short. Understand that. Time is getting real short. So understand, you have to know who your neighbor is and know who your enemy is. Because if not, you're going to be lost in the sauce. You're going to be lost. And when that time comes, you're going to be trying to cleave on to your enemy, thinking they're your neighbor. And they're going to show you exactly where you stand, like they always do. That's my time, Israel. I'm Priest and Officer Kuraya Allah out of headquarters and out of ISUPK, Connecticut. That's my time. Yahweh Shem Yashabrak Thumb. Yahweh Shema Al Thumb by Shem Shai. That's my time. Shalom.